Episode 18. What's with this room? Tanhua had the urge to tear down the room and burn it to ash. What's wrong? You don't like it? Nanshen casually leaned on the wall while watching Tanhua's twitching forehead. Ha ha ha, this room isn't this. Tanhua's lips twitched as her grip on her fist tightened. Yeah, this is my deceased doggo's room. Very normally, without feeling any guilt whatsoever, Nanshen threw a bomb at Tanhua's pride. Yeah, your ass! What did he say? His deceased doggo's room? This room is a dog's room. The room prepared by Nanshen was a normal room located right next to Nanshen's bedroom. If you only took a glimpse at it, you wouldn't notice anything strange, but once you looked closer you would find something strange in it. The bed in this room wasn't a normal human bed. The bed was indeed big, but it was in the shape of a circle, exactly like what a dog's bed looked like. Moreover, inside the room there were a lot of toys for dogs, a dog's eating plate, a dog's toilet. All the furniture in this room was for a dog. Why should I sleep here? This time, Tanhua's body trembled, and she almost couldn't hold back her anger. If she wasn't a patient girl, then maybe she would have already pounced on Nanshen and bitten him to death. Isn't it obvious that a dog should sleep in a dog's room? Nanshen tilted his head with an innocent look on his face. Was she a dog? She was human. You son of a... Tanhua thought Nanshen was joking with her all this time, calling her doggo this and doggo that, so she only followed along, but looking at the room, she realized that she was really seen as a dog in Nanshen's eyes, nothing more. For someone who previously had high pride in herself, Tanhua couldn't bear to be treated like this. Tears slowly formed in her eyes, and she silently cried while having her back facing Nanshen so he wouldn't know. Tanhua was tired that day, and when she received this kind of treatment, she had a mental breakdown. Usually, if it was another, not-so-tiring day, maybe she would have only laughed it up or choked Nanshen to death, but unfortunately it had to happen at this moment, when she was having a tiring day. Tanhua didn't want to let Nanshen know that she was crying, so she tried to suppress her voice when she cried and chose to hide her face from him, but a pity. It was a pity that her trembling shoulders and that faint sound of crying were something Nanshen noticed right away, no matter how hard she tried to hide it. Ho cried? Nanshen actually only planned to tease Tanhua and never intended to let her sleep in that dog's room at all. He only wanted to enjoy Tanhua's cute reaction. He liked to see her depressed face, but when he saw Tanhua crying silently, he felt a pang in his heart. Was he too mean to Wo? He indeed loved to see people cry and suffer, but when he saw how Tanhua cried, but never made it so obvious, choosing to hide it for herself, Nanshen felt guilty. Nanshen wanted to say that he was only joking and wanted to bring Tanhua to her actual room, when Tanhua suddenly cut off his words. No, it's okay, I'll sleep here. Good night, Mr. Nan. Tanhua dropped her head and didn't look at Nanshen at all while pushing Nanshen out of her room. With a soft bang, she let the door close right in front of Nanshen's nose. Nanshen instantly had a dumbfounded look on his face. He was kicked out of his deceased dog's room? It was the first time he was being thrown out of a room by someone, and as someone who was quite full of himself, Nanshen felt irritated. With a loud humph, he turned his body and entered his own room, after he closed his room's door with a loud bang. Wo kicked him out? Fine then, let him sleep there tonight. Nanshen previously felt guilty, but his pride took over his emotions, making him irritated when Tanhua kicked him out of the room. 5 minutes later, inside Tanhua's room, Tanhua was currently curling up her body, trying to sleep in the big dog's bed. The bed was indeed quite spacious and soft if not for the type. It was a dog's bed, damn it. She didn't even get a blanket. She was the one who was supposed to be the one getting angry. Why the hell was Nanshen also angry at her? He even closed the door with a loud bang. Meanie Nanshen, idiot, devil, bastard. Tanhua was cursing Nanshen in her mind when suddenly the door to her room opened with another loud noise. Bang! What is it now? What are you doing, boss? I am trying to sleep. Tanhua rolled her eyes as she turned her body to avoid Nanshen's eyes. Now her back was facing Nanshen. Nanshen didn't say anything and only walked fast to Tanhua's bed. The next second, he squatted down and pinched Tanhua's cheek. Mwah! Tanhua, of course, was surprised by Nanshen's unusual behavior. What's wrong with this big meanie? Did he still not have enough of bullying her? Nanshen forcefully turned Tanhua's face to look at him straight in his eyes. Why didn't you come to my room? With a very serious face, Nanshen once again dropped a nuclear bomb on the defenseless Tanhua. What did he say? Why should I go to boss's room? Didn't boss arrange this room for me? Tanhua slapped Nanshen's finger away and curled her body like a lonely doggo. This devil must have come here to tease her again. She knew it. Oof. You asked me why. My doggo used to climb into my bed and sleep with me every day, you know? Nanshen for the 9th time disturbed Tanhua by turning her head to face him. And what's the connection between your doggo and me? Tanhua nearly bit Nanshen's finger if she hadn't been a good and kind girl. She really wanted to chew this devil's finger. What's wrong with his mind? You are sleeping in my doggo's room, so shouldn't you also come to my room and snuggle into my bed? Nanshen's face looked very innocent and serious, as if what he said was something normal that should happen anyway. Can I burn this devil to death? No, I'm not your doggo, so I'm not going to go to your room and even snuggle into your bed. Never. Tanhua had almost lost her sanity dealing with this weirdo. Was he really that second male lead she admired? The one who had both brains and looks, with wealth as a bonus? Well, even though his personality was a big minus. Anyway, this Nanshen must be crazy. How could he see her as his doggo? He must be crazy, yeah, she is sure. Nanshen looked at Tanhua with slightly dark eyes, and the next second... Hupla. He carried Tanhua like a sack on his shoulder as he hurriedly strode to his room. B-boss, let me down. Meh. Dog abuse. I mean employee abuse. Tanhua was panicked to death when she felt herself floating in the air, being carried by the devil. OMG, can someone tell her what's going on in that devil's mind? One time he was mad, and now he acted like a sulking brat. Someone come and slap this devil. Bluff Nanshen threw Tanhua onto his bed very naturally as he himself got into his bed and curled up inside his warm blanket. I don't feel bump whatsoever. Be a good boy, sleep. Nanshen pulled the dumbfounded Tanhua under his blanket and very affectionately patted her tummy like appeasing a doggo. Tanhua was very, very confused. 1 second she was in the dog's room, another second she was being carried like a sack, and now she ended up in this devil's bed. What's going on, huh? Nanshen, at this time, had already slowly gone into a deep sleep without caring whether the little doggo could sleep or not. He himself was already tired. Nanshen was indeed too tired that maybe his brain was damaged in some part. He was used to sleeping with his big doggo, and he felt calm with his doggo by his side, but since the doggo died 1 month ago, he had difficulty sleeping. In short, Nanshen was just a simple, lonely rich guy. He didn't have any humans living in his house other than himself, so the only friend he had was his doggo. He loved his doggo so much that he chose his doggo over women. Mishi was the first woman he noticed, and if it hadn't been because of her talent in design, maybe he wouldn't have noticed her either. Now he had Tanhua, whose appearance was really similar to his doggo. His doggo was a golden retriever. He wanted to at least have him accompany him to sleep. He knew this might seem crazy, but he felt calm whenever he was near this boy, even though he had only known this boy for a short time. Maybe because the vibe this boy had was really like his doggo. Maybe. Nanshen very quickly fell asleep, leaving behind the dumbfounded Tanhua. How can you go to sleep all by yourself? I want to sleep too. Tanhua was feeling confused as well as angry that Nanshen did whatever he liked. She thought she wouldn't be able to sleep with a man right beside her bed when, 10 minutes later, Tanhua had a bubble on her nose and snored like a baby. She fell asleep.